I knew that we had a hall like in the city where my school was in, with about 300 places, and there was a bit more of a stage-like setting with also a curtain and stuff. And then I was 17 at the time. I just went into every, government thing there, and I just asked, how can I rent this? Can I rent this place? And they were looking at me, are you 18?
Hello, Carolin.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Are you in Vienna at the moment?
No, I'm actually in Carinthia, which is South Austria.
I know you're a young composer, and
Yes.
And I would love to know more about, how you became what was the inspiration behind this, and why you wanted to do composing. So, how did you start in music initially?
Yeah, so initially it was like this. My parents thought, yeah, it would be a good idea to give me to a piano teacher when I was 7 years old, because my mom always loved the piano, but she never played herself, and she wanted to introduce me to it. So I started classical piano, also around here, just like 4 minutes from this house. Yeah, and also, which was funny to me because I didn't continue it, I also started ballet, which is a bit more performing art and stuff, but I never continued it because I didn't want anymore. I think it was too strict for me. So when I was six, I stopped ballet, but I continued on the piano. And then I was like, yeah, I don't really want to play this classical literature that my teacher gives me, because I found it boring to practice all the time and stuff. So I was like, yeah, what else is there in music that I could play and that would be more fun to me maybe? And then I just started searching for music everywhere, on TV, in radio, I don't know, I've searched for the old cassettes, you know what I mean? Like those record. Yeah. And I found the recording of Cats from Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah.
And I listened to this, I think, like 20 times over and over again, because it fascinated me how, lyrics and music and performing can come together. So that was fascinated by this, and this fascination started in middle school. So when I was like 12 or something, and I also started to participate in theater class. So in my middle school, we had theater class and dancing class and everything. And I did all of this, and also piano and choir, because I was just so interested in all those facets of music. But then I was like, yeah, okay, I have to, maybe one day I will have to decide for one of those things.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking again, and I'm always in lunch break. I used to go to a piano, like a separate practice room, and just try things out. And what I didn't know back then, I was already harmonizing sometimes, and I was already improvising around known pop songs at the time. And then one day I was like, yeah, maybe like those musicals are composed, maybe I can do something like this. I had no idea how to, but I was just, yeah, let's start with one song. That's right, one song. And then I really wrote one song, which is called Time. Funny enough, it was already in English back then, because I really liked this language. Yeah. I really liked English from yeah.
But you come from the countryside of
Yes.
Austria, really, and I mean, people don't speak a lot of English there.
No, not at all. My parents are also not that good at English. They can speak English, but not that good. And I was always fascinated by English language and movies and everything. Of course, also Cats, so it's also in English. So yeah. And then I wrote this song, which is I was like, what should I write about? And I just wrote about the 4 years that I spent in middle school, because I was approaching the end of middle school. And just about how 4 years can pass really fast. And it was not like, quite an elaborate lyrics, just something fun for me personally. But my peers, they discovered that I was doing that. So they were listening in, in the practice room, and they were like, yeah, you have to premiere this somewhere. You have to sing this for at a show or something. I was like, no, please don't. No, I don't want to. And then at our last show that we had, we made like it was pretty funny, cruise ship themed show, because we have been on a cruise ship with a choir competition before, and we wanted to make a presentation of this to our parents. And then they said like, yeah, you're on the program, you have to perform. You're written there, you have to. So then I just played guitar, because I play piano and guitar. I also started a bit of guitar lessons just for chords, like you would do at camping, or just take it's just like sporadically, I would say. And then I sung this and played it on the guitar, and everyone was just like, where's this coming from? How can she do that, right? And my mom was sitting in the audience like, is this real? Yeah, she didn't know either. But she never, there was never a possibility for her to know. And I was keeping quiet about it, because it was just like fun to me. I didn't really think anything much about it. Yeah, and then after this show, then the teachers came to my parents and said like, yeah, it would be good if she gets further education in songwriting, and it would be a nice idea maybe if she likes this, and maybe continue it. And my parents were really supportive. They said like, yeah, if you want to, we will like send you somewhere, or maybe pay for lessons and stuff. It's no problem, but it's just what you want, as you have to want this. Yeah. So in high school, I joined the school's band. We had a rock pop band, kind of like this. We also played songs like Stairway to Heaven and stuff. Yeah. And I was always on the piano, so there I only played keyboard, no guitar, because there were better guitar players in the band, and we really had some good guitar players who really could do hard rock and blues and stuff. And so I got introduced to this genre as well. And the band leader, who was a teacher, who is a jazz arranger, professional jazz composer as well, told me like, yeah, you have this talent. Maybe you can try to write some songs for this band, like for all the instruments. And so he started teaching me notation and what notation programs there are, and showed me some of this stuff, what I can do, or maybe how can I write this down. And then I wrote like, I think 2 or 3 other songs in, I think, first 2 classes, like first and second grade, or 5th and 6th grade is how you say it. And then I was thinking, okay, maybe that's fun, but I didn't really think about doing it professionally. And then one day, like, it was before summer, and the band leader came to me, and he was like, yeah, you could, this all sounds like one narrative, like it all has like one line through it, and it's almost like in musical theater. Then there was this again, like as a little kid, as I used to listen to Andrew Lloyd Webber, I was like, oh my God, maybe I can be like this guy or something. And then over summer, I was like, yeah, I'm trying it now. Now I'm writing a musical, I try it. And then I wrote like 4 other songs. So there were like 10 songs. And I also wrote lyrics and acting scenes. So as this theater piece or musical theater piece was composed, it was like a song and then like 5 minutes speaking scene, and then another song and blah, 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 and so on. And I gave this to my teacher, in fall, and I was like, yeah, I did it. It's done. And he was just like, what? You really did that? And he couldn't believe it. And then he was like, yeah, maybe we can perform this in the school's hall, maybe sometime in summer. Yeah.
Oh.
But I was like, yeah, the school's hall is a bit too small for me. Yeah. Back then already, I was like, no, I wanna be in the
You want a big
theater
show.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
But was this all now in English? Did you write this in English?
no, the
That was
speaking
in
scenes
German.
were German,
Yeah.
and the singing lyrics were English. Yeah. So
Okay.
from the 10 songs, because the story also played or took place in the USA. So it was about So I was like, yeah, then that fits. I just let it play somewhere else. So, yeah. But yeah, then I was like, okay, how can I organize this? Because my teacher said that I can't help you with that. I can't help you getting into a big theater with a school's show, And that was also not my intention, but I knew that we had a hall like in the city where my school was in, with about 300 places, and there was a bit more of a stage-like setting with also a curtain and stuff. And then I was 17 at the time. I just went into every, government thing there, and I just asked, how can I rent this? Can I rent this place? And they were looking at me. Are you 18? Are you 18? Can you? And I was like, okay, then I have to wait,
Yeah.
And I got 18 in fall, so like some months later, and then I got there again. I was like, now I'm 18, I can rent this.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, where will you get the money from? Yeah, I just sell tickets. How will you sell the tickets? Yeah, maybe my yeah, but it all worked out, and it was so weird to me because there were 2 performances, and 2 times the audience, it was full.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know why. It was I had so much luck back then, and I had such a good experience, because usually you maybe start out and you experience failures and stuff.
Yeah.
But at such a young age, I really had like success in a way, because I also asked my peers if they want to perform in the musical. So we had a cast of like 30 people, really 30 people. We also had a choreographer and a director and stuff. I all called them like, can you choreograph for me? And so I was like, yeah, cool, that's it, I'm gonna do this. And then I started studying in Klagenfurt, which you for sure know is in Carinthia, the Landeshauptstadt, and there is the Conservatorium, now it's called a university. Now it's Gustav Mahler Privatuniversität. Back then it was back then it was called Conservatorium, and I started there with my classical composing studies, because I wanted to explore this further. And if I would have done jazz, which of course I could have also done, because my genre was more like pop and blah, 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 and jazz also, swing, everything that I just heard, I tried to incorporate in the musical. But I wanted to go deeper, I think, and also experience what a composer has to learn nowadays to be a composer. And then it got a bit harder for me, I have to say, because at first it took some time for them to accept me in their program, because they were like, yeah, you're a songwriter more. And I was like, no, I want to be a composer. I want to write for orchestra. And also back then I always had the dream that this band could be an orchestra, I was like seeing like, orchestra in, in the theater and I want to write for all of them, and I didn't know how, but they were telling me, it's different, because avant-garde music, of course, is something completely different to what I was writing. But I was like, no, I want to learn this as well. So they took about 1 or 2 terms to accept me in their program.
Really? So it was difficult to get in?
Yeah, for me personally, because I was not the, classical composer you would wish for nowadays, because usually it's like atonal avant-garde music that they teach there. Jazz, it would have been different, but as I said, I wanted to do classical. And I did the musical again. I performed it again in Klagenfurt with the students there, and also now I wanted to do some orchestral arrangements, but my band leader from first time did those, and we performed it again in a more professional setting. This was also a really great experience because I also wrote some more songs for it, so to get the characters better and, you know, show them.
I wanted to ask now, did you expand a little bit on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I also expanded like some storylines. So and stuff. And it really was accepted well, but it was not such a financial success. Because this time it was, of course, very much harder to get people to watch this, because in the city there are more stuff to look at than in the countryside. So the people were not that interested because it was an unknown name and it was something new, and they were like, nah, maybe I better go to the Stadttheater and watch something else. It's understandable because
But that's also part of the experience, you know, and part of the learning. And
exactly.
And I think you have to always think back at where you've started and how brave you were to do that, because I think that takes a lot of courage to think, okay, now I'm not just happy with the school hall. I want to have the town hall or the, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you find when you studied that you said it was difficult for you, but you obviously learned more, but did it make you more critical of your work then?
Yeah, definitely. I would say so. But not that I would despise my work or say but I was like, okay, no, I see now what those people are talking about, what I could maybe do better, or which areas I should focus on more, because I think in school, I was also so focused on the organizing part, or the getting people together and in rehearsal talking to them part, so that the for example the notation material was not that important, or the how I write down the text and stuff was not that important, because the people were always in front of me. So now I really had to also think ahead. Maybe sometimes there are concerts where the people are not with me, and in the notation there has to be everything that they need to perform it without me. That was the first thing I was like, oh yeah, right. That's something that I didn't think of before, but I will think of in the future maybe. And also just to expand also my genre of music. This was also something I got critical about, I think, because before I was always writing in the normal, verse, refrain, verse stuff form. And I was never experimenting with new stuff, or maybe just one long line and not like parts. And I started to do this, and also started doing instrumental music, because before I was only doing vocal music with lyrics, and really the instrumental aspect and what professional musicians want from you against what maybe amateur musicians want is something completely different as well.
So you had to have that experience. I mean, you had to have that knowledge to then do the work in such a way, like you say, that somebody else could understand completely what you mean.
Yes, yeah, because I also I've seen that my teachers sometimes didn't understand what I meant. Just from looking at the sheet music, they were like, because you're a young composer, sometimes they're like, okay, what does she mean? It could mean that she has some good intentions, but it's not written down. But in a bad way, it could also mean she doesn't know what she wants to write. So I had to get much clearer in that way, and I'm still doing this because I did finish a part of my studies now, but I have still like 4 semesters left. So I'm still learning about this.
But
Yeah.
I think sometimes your creativeness, or when people are very creative, they know exactly what they want, and it's in their head, but it's not always easy to explain what it is. So this is why you now have to really think of doing that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
I can totally understand that. But so now, what is the wish for you now? Because you've got this musical that you say that you've played that again, and are you busy writing new work?
Yeah. I did write a next piece because I think a year after the musical, I was like, yeah, I can't continue with one piece for the rest of my life. I have to start something new. And I met up with a writer, which Werner Schneider. I don't know if you know him.
No.
Unfortunately, he already died like 2 years ago. But I met him at a lecture at university, and I was like, yeah, can I talk to you? Because he is obviously a great writer, and maybe he can tell me something about storytelling or finding a new story and stuff. And we met, and I had this concept about free artists who try to make their own theater company or like cabaret. And he was like, yeah, that's interesting, because it's better to write about what you know than write about something completely new. So he would recommend me to look further into this. And I think this year in June, I finished the text, so the script for it. But I don't have the music yet, because first we plan to do this together, so that he writes the lyrics, this time in German, for the songs. And I make the music for it. But unfortunately, he passed away because he was already 80 years old, so 81. Yeah, he passed away 2 years ago then, and I was like, yeah, what should I do now with the work? But I plan maybe to ask some other authors or writers who are from Austria or Germany to contribute maybe 1 or 2 texts to this story. That would be my idea for the future. But right now I'm also really doing contemporary work. So avant-garde music, classical music, which is now really interesting me too, because for a long time I didn't really understand it. I was like, okay, why do you have to destroy everything? Like, I mean, destroy the tonality and really go into this noisy music and those techniques. And now that I had some more workshops about it, I really understand why classical professional musicians want to play literature like that, because it's really challenging for them, and it's also really interesting to explore your instrument in a new way, different to tonality. And now I'm doing some projects, but only for peers, so for students who, for example, have to do a contemporary piece at the last exam. And they told me, yeah, maybe you can write something for me. Then I can also influence a little bit what I get, because and now I'm trying to do that a little bit.
Yeah, because I think it's also interesting to do all the different things, and I think it also then gives you the opportunity to overlap everything, or to influence the different genres with each other, than to just stick to one thing.
Yes, exactly. That's basically my goal with my music. Like, overall, I really want to take what's best in my eyes from all the genres and use it as I need, maybe, or what I want to express in the piece. Yeah.
But I love the fact that you write musicals, because I think we should also hear all the new, and like you say, this type of avant-garde music. But the musicals have come so far, and they've always been so they always had this feeling, if you go and watch a musical, it's so uplifting, and it's just just a little bit in a different world, and it's I love that, I love that
Exactly.
that it's still, and that we don't have to just always see the old musicals, but that there can be new musicals that is relevant also to this time, to where we are living now. So yeah, that's wonderful that you do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah.
Do you still find it now easy to write, or because of all the knowledge that you have now, that it's a bit restricting for you, that you might be sort of thinking, would this be right, or would this, whereas you were younger, you just wrote because it was, you had that confidence. Do you find that as well?
No, it depends on the genre, because if I really write the musical stuff again, then that's still easy for me and fun, because now I can implement all the knowledge that I learned. But if it comes to instrumental music, or really like planning huge, like a symphonic piece, that's definitely more difficult, because then I'm more critical because of the things that I've learned in university. I also know what is possible and what could be, So then I try to really just write it down too, and not like be too critical and putting it away again, because it's fine. Just you have to learn through the work, through finishing the pieces after each other, not like staying with one piece for too long. I think it's not that good. So I do try, but that's a bit more difficult for me. I do write right now. I'm writing a symphonic piece, so for a classical symphonic orchestra, and yeah, that's a bit harder for me, because I didn't always like, okay, is this good? This is always the bad question you shouldn't ask, but
really?
but is it good maybe and stuff? But it's just a process, so.
Yeah, but I think this also comes with the more you do, that you sort of that you develop that confidence to say, well, it's good for me, and if it's good for you, then it will be good for others as well. I think it's sometimes difficult to have this individuality if there's a lot of the same things happening, to just stick to what you believe in doing, and but yeah, you sound like somebody who really knows what you want, and that you have the courage to get on and do it. So I admire you very much for that.
Yeah, that's nice of you. But sometimes I do also think about, like, is it the right way? I do think about this, because I know it's incredibly difficult nowadays to make a living as only being a composer, or only doing commissions and concerts. So I try to do like reality checks for me, so that I'm not like just writing and like, oh yeah, this will be great forever, but no, you have to also think about what can you do with it, that it might also benefit you financially in the long run, because it is my goal to be like self-employed composer. So I really have to think about those aspects as well. And if I write something, I'm also thinking about it. So that means I'm not writing for me or just what I want. And sometimes I'm thinking, yeah, maybe there is an ensemble who would need something from me, where I can write for. And then I do it, but not without purpose. So let's say.
Yeah, that's but I read the other day that J.K. Rowling, she when she wrote the Harry Potter books, 12 publishers said no before somebody said yes. So I think if you can be so strong in the belief in what you do, that you can just get on and believe that it will be there will be somebody that would appreciate what you do, then I think it's also great, because I think that is then, I understand what you mean about sometimes you have to do something for the money, but I think it's very important that you stick to this way of doing it, that you have been doing it, because this is very, I mean, this is very original. You're very original and very, like I say, very confident to at that age be able to write a musical and get it on a stage. You know, it doesn't matter where, but you got it on a stage, and you had a whole, you know, you had a sell out performances. So that's something that's that's wonderful, really.
Yeah, but only at the first one. Only at
No, but you should always treasure that and always remember that. Always,
I do, because this
yeah.
is the poster of it. I have it right here.
Oh,
It's
really?
over
Oh,
my
wonderful.
sofa.
Yeah.
So of course.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great that you do that. But tell me, so and what do you do else apart from music? Do you have hobbies and things?
I actually did a second study. So at another university, I did cultural sciences. I have a master's degree in cultural sciences as
Really?
well. As well, because the other thing that always interested me was communication between people or between countries or between worlds and stuff. So after school, I didn't only want to do music. I also wanted to go a bit more into this management stuff and communicating. So we had a lot of seminars about politics as well, and languages also. And that was really interesting to me. And now, as far as it goes for hobbies, I might also be interested in stuff like archaeology. So I always joking about I will go to I'll go to Egypt and just dig something up, you know. But this is just a passive interest. So that means I read a lot about this and listen to podcasts and stuff. And I also do enjoy some fitness or sports, like hiking or biking, like mountain biking and swimming and stuff. This too, and then reading about music.
Well, all these things, all these interests of you, this could be all used in musicals as well.
Yes,
Like,
exactly. That was always
amazing.
like, and I never wanted to do something that I cannot use for something, you know.
Yeah.
No matter what, I can use it for something. And even if I would only exist without creating, I could use my studies to just be a better person, basically, or be a better communicator. Because you also get really critical aspects in these cultural science studies. You also talk about gender and equality and stuff. So those are just topics that interest me, like humanity interests me.
Yeah.
And music, because it's a good communicator, because everyone understands it, you know.
But just on the side, you have you should look into. There's a guy I spoke to. They've got a organization called New Music South Africa. It's actually a platform for South African composers to put their music on. But I think they're doing a festival in 2022 where they take, I think, from different composers, they take the works and put that on the platform. Of there's some festival. So maybe if you're interested in different cultures, you can maybe write an African musical, you know?
Oh yeah, sure. I could do it basically because I just would research it and then sometime it would be ready. But I'll look into it. It sounds really interesting.
Yeah, and there's a South African opera singer who wants to bring African stories to Europe. She wants to do more like cultural African things to Europe. So maybe you can write something that comes, from Africa
Sounds
to
cool,
Europe.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you the information for this guy for New Music Essay if you want. So then you can look into it. Maybe one day you can do something like that.
Yeah, I would love to look into it.
But it is, I mean, I think we learn a lot from cultures as well through music. If I just think, I think in South Africa they adapted Carmen to work for the life in the townships, to tell the story of the life in the townships. And I think it's wonderful if you can do that, if you can use music in this way, and singing and dancing and all of that.
Yes.
I think that brings people together, and that also brings understanding, because the moment you put music to something, and people look at it in a different way, and I think it's a great way for cultures to be understood, through music like that.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah.
And the social aspect was always really important to me, because after a performance, if I get together with the musicians again and talk about it, or in rehearsal, that's like my favorite time of the whole composing process. Yeah. It's not even like sitting and creating, it's just getting it to the musician or to the audience. That's my favorite thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, but that's great. Yeah. And then also you never know who you touch during this performance in the audience. It could
That's
be
true,
somebody that's, that enjoyed it so much, or I don't know, had a hard day and go and sit and just had a wonderful experience. So I think that's also something that artists have the ability to do without them even knowing that they do that. Yeah. But this was so wonderful to talk to you, and I really, I hope that I can one day see one of your musicals.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Have you seen Cats now in Vienna already?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
Okay.
Of course, I had to. It was actually the first live performance of Cats that I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like a childhood, a fulfilling moment, and it was really sweet, because some of the cast members answered to my story that I posted on Instagram, because now I already know some performers in the musical world. They didn't know me as personally, but it was really a fun experience to me to see, like, okay, now I already got a bit further to those people, because they are talking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I'm sure we'll be able to see one of your musicals one day here in Vienna.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, Carolin, it was lovely to talk to you, and have a lovely afternoon.
You too.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.